All right, let's talk about that one interview question. You know, the one that makes even the most confident people start to sweat. It can feel like a make or break moment, but I'm going to give you a super simple framework that will help you absolutely nail the answer every single time. So let's dive in.
And there it is. Recruiters like me, we ask this for a reason. It tells us pretty much everything we need to know, like, can you actually solve problems? Do you have integrity? And what happens when the pressure is on? But I get it. It's a stressful question. You're probably sitting there thinking, what story do I even tell? How much detail is too much? Don't worry. We're going to clear all of that up right now.
Now, look, having the perfect answer ready to go is absolutely critical, but it's completely useless if you can't even get in the room for the interview in the first place. And that's where the first difficult problem of any job search really begins, the dreaded resume black hole. Okay, get ready for a pretty tough statistic. 75%. 75% of resumes get automatically rejected by screening bots. We call them applicant tracking systems, or ATS. That means your amazing experience, your incredible skills, they could be getting tossed in the virtual trash by a machine just because of a simple formatting mistake. This is a huge problem that I see constantly. And honestly, it's why I always recommend a tool like mobilecv.ai. Instead of you having to guess what the bots are looking for, it uses AI and these perfectly formatted templates to build a resume that is specifically designed to get past those digital gatekeepers and into the hands of a real person. And you know what the best part is? You can try it out completely for free. They give you enough credits to build your entire resume and even generate a custom cover letter, all without even pulling out a credit card. It is by far the best way to make sure you actually get the interview. You should definitely go check them out. Okay, so once your awesome new resume gets you in the door, it's time to face that question. The absolute best way to structure your answer is something called the STAR method. Believe me, it's an industry standard for a reason. It's clear, it's concise, and it is incredibly effective. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Think of it like a simple storytelling framework that walks the interviewer through your experience in a way that makes perfect sense. You start by setting the scene, then you define what your specific job was, you detail exactly what you did, and you finish with the outcome, preferably with numbers. Theory is one thing, right? But let's see how this actually works in the real world. I'm going to walk you through a fantastic example that deals with a pretty serious ethical problem, and will break down exactly how the STAR method is what makes the answer so powerful. So first, you kick it off with this situation. You'd say something like, in my last role, I was just promoted to lead the consumer products team. See? This quickly establishes your role and your level of responsibility. It's the where and the when of your story. And then you introduce the conflict. For example, just a couple weeks into my new role, one of our biggest clients raised some really serious concerns about our work quality and our billing. The stakes are immediately high. But then, the real problem showed up. You'd continue, after I did some digging, I discovered 2 colleagues had been overcharging the client and billing them for work that wasn't even finished. You see that? This just elevated the story from a simple business problem to a serious test of integrity. And that is the kind of high-stakes situation that makes for an incredible answer. All right, next up is the T for task. Your job here is to define what your specific responsibility was. In this case, it's simple. Once I understood the problem, my main goal was to make it right with the client. This shows you take ownership. Notice how it's not about blaming anyone, it's about who is responsible for the fix. And that's you. Then you get into the action. What were the actual concrete steps you took? First, I immediately went to my boss and laid out the entire issue. This is so important. It shows you follow protocol and you're not trying to hide a huge problem. This led to them handling things internally, which then cleared the way for you to focus on the client. And finally, the big finish, the result. After a few tough meetings, we agreed to finish the project at a significant discount to rebuild their trust. The outcome here is everything. The problem got solved and the client relationship was saved. And adding that little detail, they are still a client today, is such a powerful way to show long-term success. So that's the whole story. It works because it's real, it's compelling, and it showcases values that every single employer is looking for. Now, let's just quickly break down how perfectly it maps to that STAR framework we talked about. You can see it all laid out so clearly here, right? The situation was the new promotion and the client complaint. The task was to investigate and fix things.
The actions were reporting the dishonesty and renegotiating. And the result? The project got done and the client stuck around. See how clean and effective that is? No rambling, just impact.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here for building your own winning answer? It's not just about telling a good story. It's about strategically showcasing the specific qualities that hiring managers are really looking for when they ask this question. This is what an interviewer is really listening for. Your story has to show that you take ownership, even if the problem wasn't your fault. It needs to prove you communicate clearly, that you focus on solutions instead of pointing fingers, and most importantly, that you act with integrity when things get really tough. So now it's your turn. I want you to think about a real challenge from your own career. Use that STAR framework, situation, task, action, result, to build out your story. Prepare it, practice saying it out loud, and you are going to walk into your next interview ready to absolutely crush it. You've got this.